Our straight 8 cucumbers did so well this year that I want to save some seeds so I can grow them again in the future. Fortunately, straight 8s are heirlooms, which means they're seed safe, true to type, as long as we take precautions to prevent cross-pollination. Today I'll share how we save true to type heirloom cucumber seeds. Heirlooms like straight 8 cucumbers are old-time varieties that have been passed down from generation to generation. All heirlooms are open pollinated, which means pollination occurs through natural means like bees, insects, the wind, or birds. And unlike F1 hybrids, the seeds will save true to type as long as there's no cross-pollination. Cucumbers have male and female flowers and rely on insects, especially bees, to transfer pollen from flower to flower and from plant to plant. Cross-pollination occurs readily between all cucumber varieties when grown in close proximity, and crosses will vary widely and bear little resemblance to the parent. Though often thought of as cucumbers, West Indian gherkins, Armenian cucumbers, snake melons, and serpent gourds are not actually cucumbers and won't cross with them. Cucumbers only cross with other cucumbers. According to the book Seed to Seed by Suzanne Ashworth, cucumber varieties have to be separated by a distance of at least a half a mile to prevent crossing. In our case, we accomplished this by only growing one cucumber variety. And to the best of my knowledge, no one else is growing cucumbers within a half mile of our garden. This means that we can save true to type cucumber seeds without having to take additional precautions to prevent crossing. If, on the other hand, you want to grow multiple varieties in closer proximity, you'll have to take additional precautions. Seed to Seed describes a hand-pollinating technique that keeps bees and other insect pollinators from visiting open cucumber flowers. Seed savers must first be able to differentiate between male and female blossoms in order to hand-pollinate. Female blossoms sit atop a small, immature fruit, while male blossoms are attached only to a straight stem. A morning and evening inspection of the plants and their blossoms will be required each day. Seed savers must learn to identify blossoms that are still green and immature, or are about to open, or have already opened. Blossoms that are almost ready to open will begin to show some color along their seams, and the tip of the blossom may begin to break apart. Flowers that have already opened will be wilted and are of no use for making pollinations. Male and female blossoms that will open the next morning must be taped shut in the evening. The next morning, after the dew is dried, pick the male flower and several inches of its stem. Remove the tape from the male blossom and carefully tear off all the flower petals. Next, gently remove the tape from the female flower, which will slowly open. Hold the male flower by its stem like a brush and gently rub pollen onto each section of the stigma of the female flower. Pollination will be more successful if several male flowers are used to pollinate each female flower. Now retape the female flower and tie a brightly colored marker around its stem, possibly a piece of yarn or plastic surveyor's ribbon. With a hand-pollinated fruit clearly marked, you'll have no trouble remembering which fruit to save seeds from. You'll also want to save seeds from plants that produce good-tasting fruit, and save from a variety of plants to ensure genetic diversity. Before saving seeds, make sure to let the fruit grow to full maturity, when they change color and begin to soften. The straight 8s that we grew turned white. Other varieties will turn yellow or orange. Waiting a couple weeks after harvesting a fully mature cucumber will result in more viable seeds. To harvest the seeds, cut the cucumber in half and scoop the seeds and surrounding gel into a container. Then add an equal amount of water. Place the container on a counter away from sunlight and allow the mixture to ferment for 1 to 3 days. Each day make sure to stir the mixture a couple times. The fermentation process and stirring will separate the seeds from the gelatin that encapsulates them. Mold may develop on the surface, but it may not. You know fermentation is complete when most of the seeds have settled to the bottom. Only hollow seeds that aren't viable will remain on top. When most of the seeds have settled to the bottom, top the container off with water, let the seeds settle to the bottom again, and pour off the hollow seeds, debris, and water from the top. Fill the container with water again and repeat the process until all hollow seeds have been poured off. Then pour the remaining seeds and water onto a fine strainer and wash the seeds until they're clean. Remove excess water from the strainer and deposit the seeds on a non-stick cookie sheet or a plate covered with a coffee filter. Set the seeds on a dark, well-ventilated counter to dry for 5 to 6 days. Stir the seeds every day to make sure they dry evenly and don't clump together. When the seeds are completely dry, I like to convert the coffee filters to seed envelopes with a few quick folds and a staple or piece of tape. I then place them in a sealed jar in a dry, cool, dark cupboard. When stored like this, cucumber seeds can remain viable for about 10 years. I hope this video encouraged you to try saving your own true-to-type heirloom cucumber seeds. Doing so will allow you to grow your favorite varieties year after year without having to buy seeds over and over again. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more videos on how to grow a lot of food on little land without spending much or working harder than you have to. Let me do it?